Hello, guys. Meet Archie. He is today's guest for a little bit. He doesn't really like being up here, but anyways, there he goes. He likes to chill a lot. He likes to nip at your toes as he crosses your path. He likes to play bite, and sometimes he's not the greatest at that. So I do have a little bit of cuts here and there from him not being able to properly play bite with me, but it's okay. His favorite toys are these little springs. He loves these. He has about a dozen of them, and he just loves playing with them. He ends up misplacing a few of them, but that's okay. Archie. There we go. And he really, really likes food. He is so food motivated. I love it. It kind of makes things a little bit easy to deal with him. But also, he just wants to eat all the time. Why did I introduce you guys to Archie? Well, because he has also gone on a couple of walks. And I don't know about you guys, but in my eyes, that should be illegal. It feels illegal. When I'm out and I see someone walking their cat, or I hear about someone walking their cat, I can't help but think that it's wrong. I mean, it's just not the norm. It's not something you see very common, something you hear about very, very often. And so, when I hear about a cat going for a walk, it throws me by surprise, and maybe this is just me being in denial about it all. Mainly because, like, you walk your dogs. Dogs are meant to be taken out to go do their business. Cats have their own litter box. I mean, they're well known for being self-sufficient, and dogs are a lot more interactive and need a lot more attention, need a lot more work. And so that's where I kind of get a little bit dismayed about hearing someone walking their cat. Sure, I feel like it's wrong. What about you guys? Anyways, I'm not here to judge people for walking their cat. You guys do your own thing. Archie's great sometimes. There's another thing that I seem to be very much in denial about, and that is being called a super fan of Halsey. So, I claim that I am not a Halsey super fan. However, a lot of the people around me seem to think that that's not the case. And again, this may just be me being in denial, but I don't care. I enjoy her music. All the evidence does point out to me being a really big fan of hers, but I still don't think so. Please, I don't think so. I mean, sure, I may be top 0.01% of listeners for every month for the past 6-7 months, but that's not the case. I just really enjoy her music. I really enjoy her music. Sure, I may have a couple of vinyls that I just bought because I wanted to hear them, but I mean, I just wanted some vinyls, and I want to hang them up in my well, I don't have a studio, but on the wall. And yeah, sure. And it's Halsey. Like, how can you go wrong when you really enjoy someone's music? You want some of their vinyls. But yeah, that does not make me a super fan. I only have three. I only have three vinyls. That doesn't make me a super fan. Please don't attack me. Sure, I may have gone to 3 of her shows in the past 6 months, but again, I've listened to her music for about 8 years now, and these are my first concerts that I've gone to, first live concerts of hers that I've gone to, and so, can you blame me for, can you really blame me for wanting to go and see her live 3 times in half a year? I don't think so. I don't think that makes me a super fan. I really don't, but I don't know. You guys can make your points. You guys can attack me for being a super fan. This is a hill that I will die on. I do not think that I am a Halsey super fan. I'm a fan, big fan, but not a super fan. There's a difference. There is a difference. And yes, you can say that I am in complete denial about it all, but I will still refute. I will still deny every single word that goes into me being a Halsey super fan. And, I'm going to start talking about Halsey right now. Anyways, so denial also goes a little bit deeper. So when denial takes form within someone, it can be seen as a defense mechanism to protect against being overwhelmed. So a very, very good example is, let's say my boss is trying to give me a to-do list for the day, a task list of the day, and I go in there knowing full well that my memory is absolute dog water. But I'm very confident this is the time that I will be able to remember everything and be able to prove that my memory is not as dog water as it may seem. So I go in there, no notepad, no nothing, just me, myself, and my brain. Yes, and my boss is giving me these tasks, and I'm fully focused, right? I am locked in, right? At least that's what it seems like, because I'm nodding. Yeah. Okay. Okay, gotcha. So this and then this and then this. Okay. Yeah. Totally. And then I leave the office. 2 minutes later, and I don't remember even the first thing that was on that list. And I don't want to go back and be like, can you repeat everything that you just said? No, because then that's just even going to make it even worse. So, me going in there confidently, knowing full well that I have a bad memory, is a form of denial, because I know I have a bad memory, but I'm going in there without any form of note taking, or without any medium necessary to be able to take notes or be able to jot things down to help me get a to-do list or a functional way of completing these tasks. So that's just a very, very clear method of denial, which I have done before. I won't lie. I wanted to prove that I could do it, but ultimately it failed miserably. So yeah, let's not talk about that. What do you have to say to the viewers, Archie? Fine, you can go. So denial also shows up just in our everyday normal lives, and sometimes it can keep us stuck. Sometimes it can protect us. Sometimes we use it as a sort of protection. When you're saying that I'm not bothered by being left out, but your RSD, rejection sensitivity dysphoria, is actually screaming because, man, why was I left out? Is there something wrong with me? Do they not like me? Right? It's all of these things, but you don't want to showcase that. You don't want to admit to the fact that you're feeling left out. You don't want to address the feeling of your RSD screaming at you from the inside out. And you just say, you know what? I'm fine. Completely fine. Another way could be when you're feeling burnt out. And like a good example for me is I've been to a couple of social situations where I'm obviously like just not feeling it, and I'm kind of sluggish, and I'm kind of just off on my own and not really interacting with anyone. And when people ask me if there's anything wrong, I just say that I'm tired, which frankly is the case. But in reality, I'm just done, and I really should be on my way home and not socializing in that situation, or not be at a social situation like that where it's just draining me and wilting me away. Another example is when we forget or downplay needs as a form of survival. Now, I'm not saying this happens like forgetting. What's a good example? Like something that we just genuinely forget just because of the way our brains works. Like if I know my memory's bad and I go into my boss's office for the day to get my tasks, and I go in there willy-nilly without anything about my brain and expecting to remember everything, then that essentially is a form of denial. And so that's what I mean by forgetting details or downplaying needs as a form of survival. Sometimes denial can sound like productivity. Like, if I just keep going, if I just keep doing something, if I just keep myself busy, then I don't have to feel or worry about any of the things that I am feeling. Another great denial example is narrative denial. So when you believe I'm lazy, when really your executive function is just struggling, right? And that can happen to a lot of us, especially with ADHD. So throughout our lives as people with ADHD, we often get told if we had just paid attention, we would have done so much better. If we had just done the work, things would have been so much better. If we had just applied ourselves, we would be in a much better place now than where we're currently at. And this narrative gets told to us by teachers, by parents, by friends, by family. And so a lot of people with ADHD end up carrying stories that were written by people who didn't understand us. And so why do we do it? Why do we go into denial? Well, denial protects us from the shame, the fear of failure, the emotional overload. And it helps us to survive. But it can also keep us stuck. Sometimes denial helps us survive, but long term, it blocks clarity, and that's what this whole project is about. Being real with ourselves, especially when it's messy. Now, something I am currently trying to deal with as far as denial goes, believe it or not, is not the fact that I am not a Halsey superfan, because I am not a Halsey superfan, so I don't even have to deny that, because that is a fact. And you guys, I'm going to die on that hill before you guys can convince me otherwise. I don't care. But no, it is the fact that social media or putting myself out there more will allow me to grow this personal project into something that I truly want. Because I feel like I can do as little as possible and still make it work out the way that I want it to, which I know is not the case. I know I need to get myself out there a little more. I know I need to be more open with all of this, and sometimes it's hard. But if I admit it, then I have to deal with it, and you know what? I'm not admitting it. And so, I'm kidding. I am. At least that part, I am. But what's something you were in denial about for way too long? Please share. I would love to hear it. I would love to see how you've grown from that. And I will see you guys again next week.